So I'm just going to ask our final speaker to speak. He's someone that I believe has spent time with all three Vaishnavas that we are here to glorify, Srila Gurudeva, Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Maharaja. He's very inspiring towards many devotees. He's very inspiring for me. And when he speaks with such gravity, and sometimes it shocks me how wonderful he speaks. So I'm just going to leave it as that, and I'll ask Sriman Bhudhara Prabhu if you would be so gracious to share with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me. My apologies to everyone for showing up late and for leaving as soon as I'm finished speaking my brief Pushpanjali. I have a house full of visiting devotees, and we're having a program here as well. So, Gurudeva Gauda Chandaya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gauda Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I will keep my little presentation brief. Sometimes brevity is better than trying to say it all. How can you say it all about these three immense luminaries of our Guru Varga? I have to admit that I didn't really spend any time with Vaman Maharaj, but as such, I've been invited to say something about Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudeva. So just a few reflections, really. When I think of both of them, I think of the sun and the moon. Our Srila Prabhupada, he came and at great, as previous speakers have talked about, he came at great expense to himself, made immense sacrifices, and basically illuminated the way to find our true identity, our spiritual identity in relationship with Lord Shri Krishna. In his compassion, he was like the sun, indiscriminate in where he bestowed his mercy. So in my mind, Srila Prabhupada is an immense mountain of compassion. There's so many ways to talk about that compassion. A couple that come to my mind are just how he went to the places where there were only problems. Instead of going to the posh Upper East Side of New York to ingratiate himself with all the socialites who were interested in spirituality at the time, rather he went to the derelict area of downtown New York, which at the time was as rough as any place could be. People living on the streets, addicts, drunkards, and so on. And so he goes and he sets up camp there. In Boston, where I joined the temple in '72, he set up a temple there and installed the deities of Radha Gopi Ballava in a converted funeral parlor. So we took over a funeral parlor, and that funeral parlor was just adjacent to a very large drive-in for hamburgers, and the smell of the place would waft all around the temple. And these are just a couple of very small symbolic examples of how Srila Prabhupada went to the places where there were just problems. And lucky we are that he did, because all of us are, in some manner of speaking, citizens of the Kali Yuga. And it is clear that without Guru Kripa, without the Kripa of Guru, that we have no hope of attaining any Krishna, anything of Krishna, anything of Radha. He is giving. It is not our effort, although our effort is required, but they are all giving indiscriminately. It is not the result of some pious deeds that we've done in the past lives to have the chance to associate with Srila Prabhupada or Srila Gurudeva. Rather, they have, thanks to the mercy of the Lord, bestowed upon us their mercy. Can a dog survive swimming the ocean? It's not possible. Can we become Krishna conscious just on our own efforts? Clearly, in my mind, it's not possible. And it's only through Guru Seva that we can show some appreciation to them for the great gifts of Krishna consciousness that they have given us. So I think, my meditation today is that it's through Kripa, not Sadhan. Sadhan is very important. It shows our commitment to reciprocate. But maybe most important is the dedication that we have to serving our gurus, and what we do to try to please them. And in pleasing them, then the purport of our mantra be revealed to us. The reality of our mantra be revealed to us. I'm kind of stumped for words. I think that when I think of Srila Gurudev, I think of the many long years that we lived without Guru Kripa, in a sense, without Sadhu Sangha of that caliber. And in 1996, he came to Europe for the first time, and he came with reassurance that we could, thanks to Guru Kripa, achieve our heart's desire of finding some spiritual fulfillment in ourselves, of actually being useful to Srila Prabhupada. So many of my godbrothers, myself included, were not in a happy way. We were stumbling with our Krishna consciousness, with our practice, some of us. And Srila Gurudev came and bestowed a kind of a moonbeam cooling effect on our hearts. He took away a lot of the pain that devotees had experienced in the pursuit of their Krishna consciousness, perforce of their own karma, perforce of the effects of the Kali Yuga, whatever their reasons were. It was not easy after Srila Prabhupada left. But Srila Gurudev came and with his own great compassion, soft nature, and immense generosity, opened the doors to new levels of understanding the philosophy that previously had remained locked away in the treasure box of Srila Prabhupada's books. He brought out the gems in those books to us in ways that illuminated our practice of bhakti and inspired in us a new kind of revival for our practices and for the hope of attaining our heart's desire. So I'll end just by saying that The only qualification I think that we can have, that we can bring to the table, is desire. Do we really desire it? Can we desire to reciprocate with them? And if we can have that lalasa, then all things will come to us. And certainly, as Prabhupada said one time in somewhere around 1974 or maybe 75 in Los Angeles, I was sitting there in front of him on the Vyasasan, and he started crying on the Vyasasan. And he said that he guaranteed to us that if we simply followed the path of Krishna consciousness as he had presented it to us, that he would take us back to Godhead, that he would reunite us with the object of our desire, Sri Krishna. So these days are really important. I appreciate the chance to speak. For me, they're important so that we can have these moments to remember these great gifts that our acharyas really brought to us, who they are, and to be reminded that it is only through their grace and mercy that we can attain the spiritual love and service that we're hoping for. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Bhudhara Prabhu, for sharing a snippet of your relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And you speak with such gravity that I'm always blown back by it, because you have some realization of what is Sri Guru. And I'm very fortunate that you're able to share that with us, because when someone doesn't have a relationship with Sri Guru, it's really hard to have some sort of gratitude towards them. And so as time goes on and you see other Vaishnavas have that relationship with Sri Guru, you start to understand that this is what they came to give. You understand the essence of what they've come to give. So I'm very, very fortunate today to be sitting in such a sangha where you all have given a little bit of your heart to me to understand Srila Gurudeva, Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Maharaja a little bit better. So I'm really thankful.
Can I just add one thing? I don't know how much realization of Sri Guru I have, but to the extent that I have any, it's the gratitude of a dog trying to swim across the ocean, and someone comes and pulls them out. So if we understand the magnitude of our situation, then I think the gratitude will automatically be there.
Thank you.